There were some of these things of fear that they allowed to continue with their life. And one of those is the old lady poverty. And she begged and pleaded with the boys. And she said, let me live. There is a purpose for me. If they allowed her to live, the Dene would continue to live. Deneni kliniki vindan ne stragi ei hatikat hanedat ei hatha pasna as haneta ei hatikat akonti ngitne ikendan kenodikat ei dat ei si ei hatitat sota jiga akonda saida sadanda atanda au khasida ro jiga What ei hatikat te haneniki Ei jakasin sokopiinkin tahuidin tuoli. Taaro naatto ei jähdin lei. Täs naasnelegi. Ei pahan ne etat eikin jakasin sokosto. Piinkin tahuidin tuoli. Takon ne tiiässä i naad näho tiikat. Nannes pet neneki pen onnes. Pena ei toppi. Ei hot eikin sipe. Nikä tahuidin tuoli. Tisja. In the teachings of our people, there are many things in that we need to be aware of. And there are teachings in that regarding the hero twin boys, is what a lot of times people call them, but we just call them the two boys that went to their father to get the weapons and that, to do away with all of the evil and that was destroying the net or the surface people. It was that there were some of these things of fear that they allowed to continue with their life. And one of those is the old lady poverty. Te'esa is what they call it in the teachings. Te is poverty. And she begged and pleaded with the boys. And she said, let me live. There is a purpose for me. And she explained to them that if they allowed her to live, that the Dene would continue to live. And the way she told it was that if you do away with me, people will become lazy. The clothing that they are wearing will never wear out. The utensils and various tools that they use will never break and will never need replacing. And so she convinced them to allow her to keep living. And also, she mentioned that they would have to supply themselves as surface people with the things that they needed to have. And the only way that they could do that was to work and to not become lazy. And so they allowed her to continue living. But in that telling also, there are certain mountains on that within the boundaries of the Netcha. And there are a number of different mountains. The way it is in the present day is that south of the San Juan River, over there, probably near Shiprock, there's a chain of mountains that goes to the south. And the first one that they have is the Carrizo Mountain. That's not is what our people call it. And on top of that, they say that there is the way to earn things and to acquire things that you will need in life. Things like jewelry. And they call it yote. So yote is up on top of Mount Carrizo. And to the south of that, of course, there's other mountains on that, all the way down to Lukachike Mountains, and down to Tonsilla, which is crystal. And then Soleil, all those areas down there are part of the mountains. And then of course, the bears in that mountain, and which also extends down into near Gallup, the Zuni Mountains, the McGaffey, and that area. And then, of course, it continues down and eventually fizzles out. But off of those chains of mountains, of course, we have the Mount Taylor, the sacred mountain to the south. So it's and so we are here in the tail end of the Rocky Mountains, but the one that we shared the information about today is the Carrizo Mountain. And when you travel east and west on I-60, just before you get to the Four Corners area and to where the place at East Nospas, that's where that mountain begins. And the teaching is that yote is what maybe is called wealth, is acquired not just by chance or happenstance. It is that you have to work. And so the teaching, as I've been told, and as we have been told, is that you cannot acquire yote by just sitting around. It's like climbing the mountain. That's not how and it is that you start from the bottom and you will have to sacrifice. You might get hungry, you might get thirsty, you might fall and trip and so on, but that involves the making of life. The making of life, we are told, has to be earned. You have to earn the making of your life. And to earn, you have to work. And so, to acquire yote, you have to work. And the things that we can call yote is actually things that we need in our daily life. Food, clothing, shelter, and anything else that we might need. In the world today, we probably need transportation, and we need also the means to fuel our vehicle and to do all of the things that are necessary so we can get from our home to our workplace. And working is a part of making your life. Is the way that we are told. And it is very important to understand the teaching that work is a very necessary part of our existence as the ne. One of the other things that they talk about is the idea of movement is ina. When you move, that is life. As long as you have life, you're supposed to work. And in the making of your life, and to be able to take care of your family with the things that they need as they experience their existence in childhood and adolescent years and finally into the adult years. And it is the mother and father's responsibility to be able to teach these children to work and to understand that in making their life, they have to work and they have to earn their way. And it is that the teaching begins very early in life, taking care of the sheep, maybe even before dawn, where you have to take your corn pollen or your white cornmeal and you have to get up before the sun and be ready to meet the day. I remember when I was growing up, one of my relatives, either my grandfather or uncle or somebody, would say, "Nti, ndoche, ndoche," and that means get up, get out of bed. And so after I did that, then of course we would take the run, and and then of course the taking out of your bedding, and you would take out your sheepskin or any of the blankets and that you used as your bedding, and you would have to go hang it up. There was a rail outside, and we would put all that on there and let it air out during the day. And the responsibility of you taking care of your bedding was one of the very first things that we were taught. And then, of course, later on, you get to take care of the animals, and you take care of the sheep and the goats and the horses. And eventually, when I was growing up, we traveled by wagon, and I had to learn how to harness the horses to the wagon. And, of course, to take the wagon and go where I needed to get. And sometimes it was to haul water, and sometimes it was to haul wood. And tsanapans is what we used. And that was all learning how to work. And of course the planting and the harvesting of of corn and squash and beans and these kinds of foods and that we needed to have. Later on, I learned how to hunt, and there was the process of doing it safely. And all of it involved working. And I was always reminded, na neshe yahepe ina jetlete ba'akunzen, which meant understand that to make your life, you need to work. You cannot just sit around, or poverty will get a hold of you. And it is that this is the understanding we're supposed to have. We have a choice to work or to be in poverty. I know it's kind of difficult in parts of the reservation that our people don't have a means to provide themselves with some type of employment. But it is that I remember my grandmother and my mother and all my female relatives and that would weave. And even if it's just a short rug, they would call it hikesha, and that was not tying off the ends like they do with these nice rugs, but back in those days, they would just cut the loom and weave the warp back into the rug, and that's what they would sell. And I'm a silversmith myself, and I learned that from my father and my great uncle. And then we had one lady that was a silversmith, and I learned a lot of things from her. And of course, I would work with the Zuni silversmith, and I learned a lot from them, as well as the Hopi people. And they were so generous in allowing me to learn how to do the jewelry as they did. But it was all part of learning how to work and to provide ourselves with the necessities of life, the clothing and food and other things that we need to have in making our life. And so the teaching is that earn what you have to have, or what you need, or anything that might be of a luxury. If you want something, earn it, and you do it by working. And also that you avoid getting into poverty. And so those are the things that we are told.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Okay.